Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet these baby shoes or baby booties. They're for babies between 0 and 3 months, and I made them to match the little sweater, the little pants, and the little hat that I already showed you in my channel. In the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you links to those tutorials so that you can complete the set. Now, these little booties, like I said, are for 0 to 3 months, but you can easily make them smaller or bigger from a newborn size and up to 12 to 24 months. In the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make them smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, to make these little booties, and actually the whole set, this is the yarn that I used. This is DK weight yarn, but you can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. For the 0 to 3 month size baby booties, for each one of the booties, I use 12 grams, about 7 grams in the blue color and about 5 grams in white. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. To make these baby booties, I'll be using this 3mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this DK weight yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn we're going to need for the size that we're making here in this tutorial, which is for 0 to 3 months. Now, you can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. I'm going to be using 2 colors, the blue and white. So here, to begin, I'm going to make a total of 12 chains. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, beginning into the third chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, into this third chain right here, make a half double crochet. And there, I have 1 half double crochet, not including the 2 chains here at the beginning. In total, I'm going to make 9. So into the next chain through the top loop here, make a half double crochet. Half double crochet into the next. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 half double crochets here. Now into the last chain, make 7 half double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, along this other side of the chain, I'm going to make 9 half double crochets. So beginning into this next stitch right here, make a half double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There. Now into this chain stitch, remember we left 2 chains here, so into this chain stitch here at the end, right here, make 7 half double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There, I have 7 half double crochets. Now to finish this row, we're going to go on top of the first stitch right here and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this first row. Here we have 9 half double crochets, then 7, then 9, then 7. So that's a total of 32 half double crochets at the end of this first row. Now for row 2, I'm going to make 2 chains, and into this same stitch, which is the first stitch that I joined into, I'm going to make a double crochet. Here I'm going to make a total of 9. So that's 1, 9. I have 9 double crochets along this side. Now into the next 7 stitches, make 2 double crochets. So into this next stitch, make 2 double crochets. That's 1 and 2. Into the next, 3 and 4. Into the next, 5 and 6. Into the next, 7 and 8. Into the next, 9 and 10. Into the next, 11 and 12. And into the next, 13 and 14. There, I did 2 double crochets into these 7 double crochets here. Now into the next 9 stitches, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. So that's 1, 9. Now into the last 7 stitches, I'm going to make 2 double crochets into each one. So beginning into this next stitch, make 1 and 2. Into the next, 3 and 4. To the next, 5 and 6. Into the next, 7 and 8. Into the next, 9 and 10. Into the next, 11 and 12. And into the last stitch, 13 and 14. There, I have finished the second row. Now to finish here, just pull this loop through this last stitch. Here I'm going to show you how to make an invisible join. What you do here is you're going to go on top of the first stitch, which is this first double crochet. With a yarn needle, insert your needle through both loops there, and you're going to pass this through like this. And now you're going to go on top of the last stitch right here and pass the yarn through. And that's an invisible join. On this baby booty, I didn't do that, and as you can see the slip stitch here on the side, and I thought I'd show you how to make it this way. That way there is no slip stitch there showing through. So this completes the second row, so the sole of the baby booty is all done. Now at the end of this second row, I have a total of 46 stitches. I have 9 plus 14 plus 9 plus 14. That's 46 stitches. Now here where we did the invisible join, make sure that you pull this a little tight and then just hide this on the inside here or on the wrong side. That way whenever we do the next row, you don't accidentally make a stitch here in this stitch right there, because if you pull it, you will see a stitch there. So make sure that you pull this and that way you won't be adding an extra stitch. So this part here is done. Like I said, go ahead and make another one for the second booty. And to start with this part here of the baby booty, the body, we're going to find the center here. This is going to be the front of the booty, and this is going to be the back, or either or. I'm going to choose this as my back side. So here, find the center here. And to find the center, we have 14 stitches here. Find the first stitch where we did our increase here. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7. We have 14, so right here, that's the center. So insert your hook through that stitch right there. And now we're going to start with the white yarn. So pull a loop through. Now make sure that this here is facing you. This is the right side and this is the wrong side. So this is what's going to show on the outside of the booty, and this is what's going to show on the inside. So here, chain 2 and make a double crochet into this same stitch. From here on, these 2 chains will never count as a stitch. They're just there so that when we finish each row, there's no gap between the last stitch and the first stitch. Now all we're going to do here for this first row of the body of the baby booty is just make 1 double crochet for each one of these stitches all around. And at the end of this row, I'm going to have 46 double crochets. Here I'm going to show you how you're going to work the join so that you are not adding an extra stitch. Here's the join. I still have one last stitch here before that join. So insert your hook there and into the next stitch, make your double crochet. Yes, that looks a lot better than this one here. As you can see, that's the slip stitch, so it shows through. On this one here, it won't show. So now just continue all around making 1 double crochet. I will meet you at the end of this first row to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this first row. I have 46 stitches. Now to finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this first row with 46 stitches. Remember, the 2 chains do not count. Now for row 2, chain 2. Beginning into the same stitch, which is the first stitch that we joined into, make a double crochet. Now into the next, a double crochet, and so on. For this second row, this is all I'm going to do. Just make double crochets all around. Continue, finish this second row. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the second row. I have 46 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished the second row. Now, before we continue with row 3, I have placed some stitch markers. Here I have marked 13 stitches. Between this stitch marker and the next, I have 20 stitches. And then here I have 13. So 13, 13, 20. So for row 3, we're going to start with 2 chains. And beginning into this first stitch, make a double crochet. Into the next, that's 2, and so on until I have 13. That's 3, 13. There, I have 13 double crochets. I can remove the stitch marker. Now into the next 20 stitches, I'm going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, beginning into the next stitch, grab a loop and take 2 loops off. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's that double crochet 2 together, and I'm going to continue like this until I come here to the next stitch marker. In total, like I said, here I have 20 stitches, so after we work these double crochet 2 together, I'm going to be left with 10 stitches. The double crochet 2 together counts as 1 stitch. So here into the next 2, repeat the same thing, and so on. There I have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now remove the stitch marker, and into these last 13 stitches make 1 double crochet. Continue and finish this third row. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the third row. To finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And here's row 3. At the end of this row, I have 36 stitches. Now, before we continue with row 4, I have placed some stitch markers again. Here I have 12 stitches. For the front, I have 12. And for this other side here, I have 12. So 12, 12, 12. So to begin row 4, chain 2, beginning into this first stitch, which is the same stitch you joined into, make a double crochet. Here I'm going to make a total of 12. So that's 2, 12. Remove the stitch marker. Into the next 12 double crochets, I'm going to double crochet it together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, yarn over, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. That's 1, 2, 6. There, I have 6 stitches here for the front now. I have the next stitch marker, remove the stitch marker, and into these last 12 stitches, make 1 double crochet into each one. Continue, finish this 4th row. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the 4th row. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. At the end of this 4th row, I have a total of 30 stitches. Now for row 5, I have moved my stitch markers. Here I have 12 stitches, then I have 6 for the front, and then 12. So 12, 12, 6. So now for row 5, I'm going to chain 2, and beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next, and so on until I have 12. So that's 2, 12. Here's the stitch marker, remove the stitch marker, and now into the next 6 stitches, double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, yarn over, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. That's 1, 3. I have the next stitch marker, remove the stitch marker, and into these last 12 stitches, make 1 double crochet. Continue and finish this 5th row. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the 5th row. To finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 5. At the end of this row, I have 27 stitches. Now for row 6, chain 1. In this row, I'm going to make front post and back post double crochet. So beginning with this first stitch here, make a front post double crochet. Into the next, back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how you're going to continue for row 6. Just alternate between front posts and back post double crochets. Now, one thing, when you get here to these stitches, the double crochet 2 together stitches, treat these stitches as one. This stitch here has 2 legs, but just go ahead and treat it as one stitch when you do the front post and back post stitches. Continue and finish row 6. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 6. In this row we did front post and back post double crochets. I have 27 stitches. To finish this row, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn and pass my yarn through that last loop. I'm going to continue with the blue yarn. So here to begin row 7, insert your hook into the same stitch that you joined into and grab a loop. Now if you're not changing yarn color, then just go ahead and chain 2. There. Now into this same stitch here, make a double crochet. For this row, row 7, all I'm going to do is just make double crochets all around like this. So continue, finish this 7th row. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this 7th row. Here at the end into the last stitch, I'm going to make 2 double crochets, so that at the end of this row I have 28 double crochets. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here's the 7th row. In this row we just did double crochets all around. Now for row 8, I'm going to start the stitch pattern, which is the herringbone stitch. It's the same stitch pattern that I used to make the little sweater, the baby pants, and the baby hat. So if you have done all of those pieces, you are probably an expert at making this stitch pattern now. So here to begin, I'm going to chain 2, and into this same stitch, which is the same stitch we joined into, make your first herringbone stitch. So yarn over, grab a loop. I have 3 loops on the hook. Take 1 loop off, grab a loop, and take 1 loop off, grab a loop, and take 2 loops off. Again, yarn over into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 1 loop off, take 1 loop off, take 2 loops off, yarn over into the next stitch, same thing. Take 1 loop off, take 1 loop off, take 2 loops off, and so on. This is how I'm going to work row 8, and this row is being worked on the right side. Continue, finish row 8. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 8. I have a total of 28 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 9, chain 2 and turn. So here to begin, into this next stitch, insert your hook and make your first herringbone stitch. So yarn over, grab a loop, take 1 loop off, take 1 loop off, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 1 loop off, take 1 loop off, take 2 loops off, and so on. And this is how you're going to continue for row 9. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 9. I have a total of 28 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 10, chain 2 and turn. Beginning into this first stitch, make your first herringbone stitch, and into each one of the stitches make a herringbone stitch, and into the next a herringbone stitch, and so on. Continue like this all around for this last row. I will meet you at the end to show you the finished baby booty. I finished the 10th row. Here at the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop, and then I just hid my ends here on the inside. So this part here is done along with the booties. It's all done, and this is how it looks. Now, what I did here for this one, I just weaved a long chain through the row of front post and back post double crochets that we did here. So let me show you how to do this part. Now, the first thing that you need to do is make a long chain. I used the 3mm hook to make this chain. I have about 80 chains here. Now, with a yarn needle, you're going to go here to the side, and right here where we have the row of front post and back post double crochets, you can either do it here or here. For my booties, I did it here at the top. So all you have to do is just weave this through the rows of front post stitches like this all around. Now make sure that they're even there, and now you're going to bring the cuff down, this part down, and find the stitch there that's right on top of that last stitch, and just bring this through here to the front, and on the other side of this stitch, pull this other end through, and now all you do is just tie a little bow. Now you can also use a satin ribbon. I just like to do it like this. And there's the little bow. You can also do it here in the center. That would be up to you. And here's the finished bootie. Now here at the end, what I like to do is with the yarn needle, just go through the back of the chain here and weave this tail end. You can also tie little pom-poms here at the end. For this bootie, I'm not going to do that. There. And now you can just cut this end. And just repeat the same thing for the other end here. So these booties are all done. Here's one, it's all finished. I just have some cotton balls inside so that you can see how cute these are. Now let me give you the finished measurement. Now the length, it should be about 10 centimeters. Yes, 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches, and the width here is about a little bit less than 2 inches. I would say about 4.5 centimeters, which is about 1.75 inches. So based on these measurements, these little booties are for baby boys and girls between 0 and 3 months. Now you can easily make them smaller or bigger. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make them smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. So this completes the set. I already showed you how to make the little sweater, the baby pants, the little hat, and now the little booties. I'll go ahead and leave you the links to all of these tutorials in the information box. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.